So will you teach me?
I was speaking somewhat metaphorically when I said, not today. That didn't necessarily mean immediately tomorrow. But I don't know whom I'm teaching.
Up until recently, neither did I, but okay. Insert Dreamscapes here. And that has always been there, but I only recently remembered it, and it's old. It's old memories, but it's new and it's fresh, and I'm struggling to keep them balanced. But the whole ordeal ended with him dying in my hands. And the shadow killed him, but I could have done it. It could have been me. I could have killed Lang. I could kill anyone. My hand, I feel like I can't trust them.
It made you to be a weapon. It taught you how to kill. If you become a hospitaller, I am sorry. It's very likely that you will again feel someone die in your arms, or at least under your hands as you work desperately to save their life, and yet you fail.
But I would rather fail trying. Right now, I can heal myself, and I can hurt others, and I don't want to hurt people on purpose.
The fact that you can heal yourself is very impressive. It's until we have students absolutely certain they know what they're doing, we are loath to ever have students work on themselves or other human beings, because it is so easy to break and it is so hard to heal. That you can heal yourself is a very, very hopeful thing.
I spent a lot of time alone with my own song.
The difficulty will be that to heal, you must reach out and become familiar with others' songs. Not to break them, but to put them back as they were before they were injured. And if you are afraid to touch others, that's going to be a real challenge. Is that an issue?
It is right now, and I don't want it to be.
Well, I will think on that. I'm sure that Lang conveyed to you that asking me to teach you is a very big step. I am under oath. But I don't have to address that right now, because you're not ready to learn. That doesn't mean I'm sending you out on some sort of long mystic quest to try to figure out what it is that you need to know about your person so that you are ready to learn. What it means is I need to figure out how to teach you, and you need some time to come home to yourself.
How do I do that?
Have patience with yourself. Time is your best friend in this case. You need to remember without horror the things it took from you. You have those memories now, but they are wrapped in so much pain and loss and horror that I think you're going to need some time to get past that. Back to what they were. You had a family. You had a life before it came and it murdered them. It murdered them. It kidnapped you. It did things to you as should not be done. But what it's done hasn't defined you. It feels like it right now. You feel wholly shaped by it, but you're not. I hope that the day will come when you not only have a certain knowledge of Jesus, as Lang has told you, but you have a hearty trust in him as well. Because he is the King of healing what is broken. He is the one who can reshape a broken life and make it whole. I can't. No one else can. Not the way you need. He is the real answer to your problem. But that is something that in his grace can take time. You and many of your friends think of me as the healer. I am a cheap imitation of the true healer. And I wish I could bring you to him. Right now, all I can do is tell you about him. But he is the prescription. Until that, I have to think a little bit. I have an idea, but it would not hurt me to surprise you with it. I think you will find it a good surprise when I can get it figured out. You want me to teach you to heal. I can't teach you to heal by my oath unless you also take the oath. Are you willing to do that?
I would rather not. And I don't know if it's just residual from everything the Shadow said about keeping my talent secret. But right now, I feel like I've kept the secret long enough that I may as well keep going. But if I drop everything I'm doing and tell the world I'm talented and re-enroll as a hospitaler, I'm gonna lose, all of the classes I've already taken, and I won't be a mage support anymore, and I do love it. I've got this obligation to Meru now, and I don't want to just drop that.
Given that Meru won't be set to the front for several years, do you think there's any real danger that you will have to fight to defend her?
Lang and Arliss had reservations about the thought of leaving her here alone, and what the two of them decided was going to make them the most comfortable having to be so far away was if someone was looking after her, and that someone was me. I have no idea why Arliss thought that, but I'll take it. But Lang asked me to take care of her. So maybe I'm not officially her mage support, but for all practical purposes.
You're her mage support.
And I want to continue to train to do that well. And I don't know, the realm freaks me out a little bit. There's just enough that makes me uncomfortable. I don't think the Shadow was right on the record, but a lot of the stuff he said about the corruption I can see, and I would rather be a mage support that can heal than be one of the realm's shiny hospitalers. No offense.
None taken.
There are plenty of people, well, there's a handful of people who know about my dealings with the Shadows, but not everyone, and I'd kind of like to keep it that way. And if I go up to the leadership at Wand and go, hey, by the way, I've been talented all along, people are going to ask questions, and I don't want to answer them. And that might be very selfish, but I'm not prepared to face that right now. When I said, there might be a hypothetical unregistered talent, what would they do? And you weren't surprised. Did you know? How did you know?
I required Ling to tell me what happened in detail. And he is an honest boy. So when he didn't tell me things, when he paused, when he searched carefully for words, when he assured me he was telling me everything he could tell me, I knew there were pieces missing. It's a good thing. He's a very bad liar. He wasn't lying, but he was leaving out parts of the truth, and I perceived that he was leaving out parts of the truth because he had given his word, and no matter how I pushed, he would not yield on that point. There are things that happened that made perfect sense if you had the talent and could wield it, and made no sense at all if you didn't. The very fact that if he would not tell me, it was because he had given his word. To whom had he given his word? Well, my options were few or one. It was to you. So, when it suddenly revealed to me that you have the talent, am I surprised? No. But neither the shadow that took you is a villain, and it abused you because it was powerful and you were weak. But that doesn't mean that it also didn't choose a tool that would be as powerful as it hoped. And if it had the choice between untalented and talented, it would choose talented.
But it made me talented. How could it have known that I would be what it wanted?
It made you talented. You're not the first one that's happened to. This generation of students has a frightening number of individuals who were made talented. We've imagined that it is only a gift that God gives directly. And now, in this generation, we find out it is something that is not... You do not see the hubris that we have had, because we have assumed that each individual that has the talent solely because God gave it to him or her. And therefore they have a particular blessing, a particular aegis, a particular authority from God Almighty, simply for having that talent. And when I say we, I mean the talented of the realm. The idea that someone else might simply be able to bestow the talent on them by what we would consider more ordinary means, whether it be a dragon or a shadow or something else, has been beyond our imagining, because we imagined that we were special in a way that no one else could be special. The idea that you could be given the talent should have been on the table. It is a blind spot of our thinking when it isn't. What would it mean if we, having done all of our tests and ruled out any long list of individuals that they could ever have the talent, suddenly have to rethink ourselves and look back and say, could these people now have the talent because of something that happened later? Oh, we're not ready to think that way yet.
Is it my job to change that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It just means that you have an advantage. If you've been tested and there is record that you don't have the talent, from the mindset of everything that's in place, you could never have it again. Admittedly, Archmage Philippos recognizes, and Sarlo for that matter, and even Elder Mage Helvin, that the untalented can be granted the talent, but I think they consider it it was a one-time event in their experience. You are not the only one who was born without the talent and has now come to this school to learn to wield virtue.
I guess that's encouraging.
But it does mean that the fact that the shadow had chosen you, it made me inclined to think highly probable that you had the talent. Someday, this might be funny to you, but there is a very shallow male saying that it's just as easy to fall in love with a rich girl as it is to fall in love with a poor girl. So why not just fall in love with the rich one? I think that can be said truly of shadows. Sure, it could kidnap a talentless girl and torture her. But why not have the talent in as well? Just as easy. I just didn't consider the possibility that it would just make the talent. So I wasn't surprised. No, I just figured it had chosen someone who had the talent that somehow we had missed.
So, if all the pieces were there and it wasn't a surprise and you suspected it, and you distrusted me so much, why didn't you out me to Wand? It would have, if you disliked me so much, it would have gotten me out of your way, I'm sure.
I never disliked you just because I felt like disliking you and wanted to do you harm.
No, you disliked me because I tried to murder your son.
You have to admit that does put a little bit of a damper in the relationship.
Certainly. It's just everyone else started to trust me so fast.
And that, I felt, was poor timing. You had declared that you had switched sides. And everybody was, that's great. That's fantastic. She switched sides. Let's trust her with our inmost secrets. And I considered that a tad too fast. Especially since you could just be lying. That's why they call it lying.
I thought the same thing. I assumed
that everybody was stupid. Well, I wasn't. Yes, and I will tell you, I think my son was stupid. I think he was blinded. Either he was very wise or he was just lucky. But either way, I am willing to trust you now. And that will have to be enough. I do not mean you ill. And if I had brought you ill in the past, it would have been because I thought you were doing wrong, not because I did not like you.
You decided you were going to trust me because you read my song. I couldn't convince you, and I understand that. I don't think I'd be able to convince me either. Can you teach me to read songs like that?
In time, perhaps. We'll see. But until you can touch someone with confidence, certain that you will not do them harm, there is absolutely no point in my teaching you that. The time may come, but not yet.
Insert these episodes here, which is what I do in the throwbacks anyway. It's like...
Okay. Do you think there's any real danger that you will have to fight to defend her? Sorry, that's done somewhat tongue-in-cheek, since we both know there comes the moment when you have to desperately fight to defend her.
Yeah. A hospitaler that can heal, no.
Now, if you were saying I was only good with numbers...
You can read really fast.
Then I might take offense.
The timing on this is highly entertaining, because I think it went Wednesday, home from Dreamscapes, straight to his house to be like, bro, can we talk? This would be Thursday. Okay, we'll talk about things. Friday is the knock, knock, knock. Meiru's here. Hey, she's going to Eastside. I thought you were going to be at church with me on Sunday. Well, that was my plan. I was planning on it. I forgot about my pre-existing thing. This all happened so fast. Eastside is like tomorrow.
When you guys did stuff, you did it all at once. And then some time would pass, and then more all at once.
Eastside was not my fault.
Which time?
There was only one time. There was only one time. Well, things that happened once there were gently my fault.
So was Theraline going to Eastside on Friday?
Yeah.
Oh my.
We're about to leave. And it was like, by the way, do you have money for this trip? And I was like, oh, no. And then I asked Cornelia and alienated Cornelia. And then I went to ask Meru. And I wanted to ask Meru about swaying anyway. But I was not prepared to have that conversation in game at that moment. And so I asked it horribly. And I was like, let's move on from that. Can I have some money? And she was like, no. And she's like, don't go. And I'm like, I will take that under consideration. I'm going to go call Lang. And Mary went, no, I'm going to sleep under your window. They had a shouting match. Timaeus was like, I do not have daughters for a reason. This is nonsense.
You are not even my daughters. You are Gabriel's daughters.
You're a problem. Yes, I'll go with you to Eastside because Ellerina asked me to, and Lang would be sad if I let you go alone, not knowing that Lang was already planning on stalking me anyway. So that's the timeline there. But Eastside, overall, not my fault, because I said, I'm interested in money, and you were like, the bank is in Eastside. I'm like, you could have not done that to me. Thank you very much. And it was like, also, take Andrew with you, please. And I'm like, sure, I'm sure I won't get ridiculed for that. And when someone steals from you, please chase them. All of the bad decisions she made in that arc were favors to you.
I accept that on record. It is a recording now that, yes.
Wow, that was a very effective summary.